Hand independence can be the most frustrating part of being a piano player. So in this video, we are going to look at a step-by-step, day-by-day approach to building better independence between your hands. So let's dive in. All right, the first thing I want you to do is get comfortable with the left hand pattern and moving your right hand right along with your left hand. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing a little waltz pattern starting on C, then G, and then A, and then F. So C with E and G, G with B and D, A with C and E, and then F with A and C. So you want to get comfortable enough with this that you can conversate with somebody. I was going to say have a conversation. You know what I mean. This is something you're not thinking about. It's autopilot. And once you've got that, I want you to take your right hand and match those shapes. So we're going to play C, G, G, D, A, E, F, C. So all I'm doing is matching the position between my hands. You could even practice moving them like this. And this is where we start to build that independence because we're doing something a little bit different with each hand. So when this hand plays C, this hand plays C. And then at the last moment, we're going to play the top note of that shape. And then we're going to move the whole party to the next position. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And this is day one. This is what you got to focus on. And if you need more than one day to do this, take a couple. Get really comfortable here before you move to the next step. Now there's a reason why we've broken this down into 5 days, and that's because magic happens when you sleep. So I don't have the explanation for it, but I do know that when you're working on something that feels really difficult, you can often find that you go to sleep and you wake up the next day and your hands are like, oh, I kind of know what I'm doing now. So allow this process to take time. We're building layers on gradually that are going to give you more independent hands. So practice that, and when you're ready, we'll go on to the next layer. So the next step is adding a bit of a different rhythm to the right hand. So we're going to be playing just a 5-note scale, but we're going to be playing eighth notes and a quarter. So you'll count 1 and 2 and 3 and then you're going to move to the next position, which is G. 1 and 2 and 3 and then A, 2 and 3 and F and 2 and 3 and. And that's all fine and dandy on its own, but when you have to put these hands together, it can be a challenge. So we'll go 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 that's the next step. So you see we're building layers. We got comfortable with the position and a certain rhythm, and now we've changed the rhythm and added a few more notes. So it's a little bit more for your hands to kind of balance and coordinate. I'll play it one more time and we'll go on to the next step. So there you go. Take your time with it, practice this today, have a good sleep, and then when you're ready for the next layer or the next step, you can dive into it. Okay, so now is where things get a little bit crazy. We're going to switch the roles between the hands. So it sounds simple in theory, but oh my goodness, I still get tripped up when I try to switch the roles. So what I mean by this is our right hand is now going to be playing that waltz pattern, and our left hand is going to be doing that first sort of pattern we did earlier where we're just playing the bottom and the top note of that shape. So it will sound like this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and I have to concentrate way harder to get through this. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you know what to do, you know what notes to press, but I'm interested to hear from you how this feels when you go to reverse the roles. I know I definitely have to pay more attention. So take as much time as you need with this step, and when you're ready, you can add the next layer. Now the next layer is adding on that final bit of complexity to the left hand part. Just like we did with the right hand, we're going to keep this waltz pattern. We're staying sort of swapped, but our left hand is going to play those eighth notes to the quarter notes. So it'll be... See, I'm not talking because it's way more focus. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Whew. Okay, so take as much time as you need with that step because The final step, dun, 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 is doing exactly what we've just done, but interchanging between the hands, who's doing the waltz pattern and who's playing the melodic bits. So get ready, buckle up, because here we go. We're gonna start simple. We're gonna go back to putting the waltz pattern in our left hand and this bottom to top shift in our right. So it'll sound like this. But on the next rotation, we're gonna switch roles. Wow, I had to think really hard about that. So that's part one. Part two will be to take that and add the more complex melody and then seamlessly switch between them without pausing or stopping. That's the secret here. That's what's really going to develop the hand independence, is not missing a beat as you transition the roles between the hands. So what that's going to sound like is this. And switch. See if you can switch back. Woo! So it's just a simple little pattern, but I'm really focusing, and it kind of feels like a bit of a brain massage, but not like a good one, like the kind where they really get into the muscles and, you know, help release the tension and you're kind of sore afterward. That's how it feels in my brain when I'm switching roles between the hands on this exercise. So that's it. That's what you have to work on. And, you know, when we started at the beginning, it may have felt very simple. You're like, well, this isn't hand independence. What are you talking about? But as you add the layers, you're like, oh, I'm sure glad I spent the time to build the foundation, because now I'm playing something that might have felt impossible at the beginning. And if you're a brand new piano player and you're approaching this, step one probably felt really, really difficult. But this is a great opportunity for you to see how, with time and practice and patience, you can develop a skill and then continually add layers to it so that you're playing something more complex at the end of the day. So the last little bit of advice I have for you, aside from, you know, having a sense of humor, laughing a little bit if you make a mistake, staying positive and trying to have fun in this process, is to add on a layer of like dynamic complexity. If you've got this mastered, try playing one hand soft and one hand loud, or one hand staccato and one hand legato, and then switch between the hands for those things. And it will seriously, you'll think you've mastered this, and then you add that one extra layer, and suddenly you're like, oh my gosh, it feels like I'm starting from the beginning. That is hand independence. It's always something that should feel challenging. You're always in development. So if you've enjoyed this lesson, it would be an absolute honor to me if you would just hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us get our lessons to you so that you never miss a lesson. And thank you so much for hanging out. Comment below and say hi, and I'll see you next time.